Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Insaka Talks. Today, I am with a dear friend of mine, a young lady that thinks you play better tennis than I do. Yeah, but I would love to welcome Natasha. Natasha, welcome to Insaka Talks.
Thank you. Mulibwanji. Hi. I'm with Stephen here, my fellow countryman. And thank you for having me, honestly. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. I know you're very busy. I know you are working on so much projects at the moment.
Yep.
It was very hard to get you here. You eventually got you, and
Incentives were biscuits.
what do you call them? The tennis
Tennis biscuits. If you know, you know.
We do the tennis biscuits, and then the other ones. What are they called?
Eat some more.
Eat some more. Eat some more. We'll get you some. We'll get you some. Tell me about yourself. What's your story? What have you been doing? You've been busy, man.
Ooh, I'm in my second year of fashion design. So I go to Copenhagen Academy of Fashion Design in Oslo. So I'm in my last year. Been busy with getting ready for my final exam, which just officially started on the 21st of February.
Right.
So my life the past 1 year and 6 months has been super hectic and busy.
And that's why we haven't seen you.
That's why you haven't seen me like this. You guys, this one. Natasha, where are you? Why aren't you at the run? But no, honestly, I've had nothing but support from Steven and everyone else. So yeah, I've been super busy. It's been super exciting.
Right.
Yeah.
Where did this come from? You being into fashion design.
When I think back on it, I think about my mom. She actually kind of pushed it on me, but I was just like a very big tomboy back in the day. But as I got older and then I officially moved to Denmark, when I would walk around, I would see a lot of different clothes and styles. I'm like, yeah, but if you do cut it this way or add this and this. So the passion started to grow and I just started to experiment.
Right.
And then I realized that I have a passion for being creative, but in terms of making clothes. So that's when the decision came to
Go into the school.
yeah.
Right. But you've never done it private, at home in Zambia, trying
No.
to design clothes.
No, but you know how it is, like growing up, being African. Your parents always encourage you to go for jobs that are more secure.
Very
So
true.
my thing was like, okay, I need to get into international relations so I can get a good job and a good paycheck. You're never really encouraged to go into creative avenues at all.
No.
So I never thought about it because my first thought getting out of high school was I need to get a job that offers me security. So this came later in life. Yeah.
I was like, I need to be a pilot. And at first it was like, I need to be a pilot, then a doctor. Then later on I said, you know what, I'll just be a priest. You know? I'm like, I'm just going to be a priest, you know?
You just jumped to priest. NC.
You heard that. You heard that. But how do you, with your work, your creativity, how do you incorporate it with your own life?
That's a good question. Basically, when being in a creative school is both a beautiful and a difficult thing, especially in the school that I'm in, because we are encouraged to be our own individuals. So we're not limited in our creativity.
No.
So if I have to think of a concept of a new project, I tend to take different aspects of what's happening in my life at that moment to incorporate it into my collection. So a lot of my projects and collections have been inspired by what I'm going through at that moment in my life.
Right.
Then I feel like there's a lot more passion and authenticity in it. So, yeah.
Right. So, like you hear the musicians, a lot of these guys wrote a song because of what they're going through in their lives.
Yeah.
How do you, and then you can hear it afterwards. But with you, how do we see the work that you've done, the clothes? How do you relate that? How do you interpret that?
It's very difficult to interpret that with clothes because unless you read what the concept of the collection is about.
Right.
So as much as we see beautiful collections on Instagram, if people took time to actually read what the concept is about, then it'll make complete sense. Sometimes you see some collection, it doesn't make sense. But once you read the concept, it makes sense. But our job is kind of like, we need to make sure that you understand what we're putting out or what that concept is about. Like my last my signature project, which was recently posted on Instagram. It was about, it's called Stay in Symmetry, for example. It's about this whole, my constant need to strive for perfection, like straight line, symmetry, everything needs to be a building block. So the moment I get like a stain or some kind of smear on it, I start freaking out. So because of my process being in school, I have learned that perfection is not something that anyone can ever achieve. And that with the stains and the smears that you get on this perfect canvas, this perfect symmetry that you're trying to create with your life, that builds character. It's okay to make mistakes. That's the learning process. So you try to incorporate that into clothes. It's a bit difficult, but yeah.
Wow. The previous interviewer I had here, he talked about, Elias talked about that he doesn't put the 10 plan in process. He doesn't do the 10 plan, like what happens in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm hearing as well, that you're very flexible with your work.
Yeah.
Because he was saying, look, putting a 5 plan or a 10 plan program in my life, I'm limiting myself.
Yeah.
I can't work outside those boundaries.
Yeah.
And this is what you're saying.
Like you can obviously have a goal. There's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes in trying to achieve that goal, you forget to enjoy the process. You forget to give yourself room to learn and enjoy the process, because you're like, okay, I have these steps that I need to follow. No, the process, the journey to getting to that goal is the most important part. It's the part that builds you. So I think we tend to forget that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Lovely said. Isn't it the same if you're going to Zambia, you know that your goal is to go to Zambia?
Yeah.
Is it Ndola or Luanshya? What is it?
Lusaka.
Lusaka. Is it Lusaka? So for you to go to Lusaka, so it's the process.
Yes.
What flight?
Yeah.
What clothes am I going to take? Who am I going to visit when I'm in Lusaka? Blah, blah, blah.
Which relatives I'm going to avoid.
Ooh, I never said that. We know those. Don't. You never tell them. We never tell them what coming.
Just land. See, you need to see, and then out.
We're saying the process is very important as well.
It's super important.
Yeah. And you're a mom. I met your lovely daughter. How do you work private life? How do you balance that?
Dumb luck.
It is? It is? Because most of us will rather say, you know what, let me put one on pause.
Of course.
If it's my work or my school or whatever it is, let me pause it until my daughter is of certain age. But you've incorporated the two. How did you do that?
I'm lucky to have a girl in many aspects. So I try to remember, when I'm at home, then I'm home, I'm a mom. That's it. Until I put her to bed, then I continue if I have to do some schoolwork.
Right.
But I try to incorporate Alicia into my projects as well. So if I have to do something super important that has to do with school, I teach her do you want to learn how to sew? And she actually, if I involve her, then she understands mommy is doing something important for school. Then she enjoys that whole process with me. So I try to incorporate her into my schoolwork sometimes. And then I have a rule that when I'm at home and she's there, then I'm a mom. School just has to wait.
Right.
So it's about finding a balance.
Right.
And maybe try to incorporate your child into it, because you can't say, I'm going to put it off until my kid is 10, until my kid is blah, blah. It's like either you do it now or just give up on it. You shouldn't deprive yourself, because at the end of the day, when your child sees you working hard, you're balancing to be a mom or a father, whoever it is, and you're working hard to take care of them, you're working hard to become a better version of yourself. Those are good habits for a child to see you do. It's like, okay, when I grow up, I'm going to work just as hard as my mom or dad.
So you guys hear that? Did you just Zambian little girl say that? You are so intelligent.
I know. There's a lot more to me than my looks.
That was strong. No, seriously. It's very, very strong, because this is what we need to teach our kids.
Yeah. It's not about what you say. It's about what you do at the end of the day. Yeah.
So she knows when mommy's
Yeah.
busy, I need to give her room.
Yeah, she knows, or she wants to be a part of it. And I have a full-size mannequin and fabric that she can play with. And she tries to create her own designs to the point where it touches my heart when they're like, they should dress up for what they want to be when they grow up. And she gets my measuring tape and puts a pencil in her hair, because I always have a pencil in my hair, and says,
Yeah.
I want to be a fashion designer like my mommy. That's impact. That's what you're doing. Think about the positive impact that you have on your kid, no matter how small or what kind of job you have. If you're doing hard work, putting in the work, the dedication, your kid is going to just copy and emulate that behavior and carry it into their life. It's super important. So, yeah. That would be 3 tennis biscuits.
This is gonna be expensive, this talk. It's gonna be extremely expensive. I didn't see this one coming. Wow. What other things do you do in your life? You know, there's work, there's being a mom.
Well,
We run.
we run. No, he runs. I don't know why he's trying to make me look good. No, but
We run. We play tennis.
yes, we try to.
We play tennis.
We play tennis. I try to spend as much time doing things for myself, because sometimes you get caught up in your everyday life and you forget yourself. So I try to do stuff that makes me happy. So hanging out with my friends, which is probably not relevant to this talk, but it's so important when you're taking a journey to improve yourself or become a better version of yourself, that you surround yourself with people who are also doing the same thing and being the best version of themselves. So it's just like I surround myself or hang out with people who, when I'm with them, their energy also gives me more energy to keep going, right? So I try to be social, you know.
How do you find people like this? Where do you go? Do you go around running clubs?
Running clubs. No, I've been so fortunate to just meet people through. I met you through Zozo.
Yeah.
Who is an amazing person.
Who's coming on this talk as well.
Yes, Zozo she's amazing.
Zozo, we want you.
Yeah, you should be here.
Yeah, so you met Zozo.
I met Zozo at an event, and then kind of putting yourself out there, like, okay, I'm going to try something new, go to an event here and there. You end up running into people you never expected to have chemistry with. So because of that, I built a network through, I know this person and blah, blah, the same way I met you.
Yeah.
And that's how my network kind of grew. Because for me, it's a vibe. Like, if we click, we have chemistry, then it's okay.
Right.
So it's hard. I can't say, you should look out for these things. But you can always tell by what you talk about with that person.
Right.
What is the main topic of discussion? If it's like, in Zambia, like we say, vakonda mlomo chabe, like, blah, blah, blah. They like gossiping. Gossiping.
Yeah.
Then it's like, you don't need to be with those kind of people. You need to be with people who talk, money moves, mental health, spiritual awareness. You don't have to be religious, but it's kind of like the well-being of yourself and themselves. So that's super important to always be aware about, okay, when I'm with this person, what do we talk about? What are the main topics of discussion? And how do I benefit from this person?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Growing up and having, 3 kids.
You guys, he has 3 kids.
you hear them talking about quantity at a certain age.
Yeah.
But I'm hearing you that it's not quantity, it's quality that is important.
It's about quality that's important, yeah.
Yeah. Right.
There's no use in having 20 friends and all 20 of them are useless.
Exactly.
I'd rather have one friend and I benefit a lot more from that one friend. The older you get, the smarter you become. Yes, more gray hairs, cracky backs.
Yeah.
But you learn a lot. In the long run, you learn a lot.
You do. That's wisdom, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's wisdom.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And then, I know you went through a dark path. But you seem very bright. You seem very different. How did you do that? How did you move away from the black?
Do we have time?
Yeah. Ooh, 5 minutes, girl. How did you move away from that and becoming who you are and being, a super mom? How did you do that?
Oh, super mom.
Yes,
How did
I
I
think
do
you
that?
are.
It was difficult. It involved a lot of healing, but it also helped that, again, you need to be very careful who you're surrounded.
How was the process? I know it was a turbulent part of your life, but look at
Yeah.
you today.
Ooh, facing hard truths.
What does that mean?
Facing hard truths about yourself and whatever situation that you're going through. It's kind of like laying all the cards on the table and just facing all your demons and telling them, all right, let's talk. And then once you come to that realization that, okay, this and this happened to me, and you think about why those things happened, you cry it out, you deal with it, and you move on. I chose to not let what I went through define me. So I went through a lot of basically getting to know myself again. And a lot of self-love, a lot of self-healing, surrounding myself with positive people, positive vibes. It wasn't always easy. I had a lot of relapses, but a lot of conversation with myself. I'm not trying to say, go on the street and start walking around talking to yourself, but it's like something Zozo told me, like journaling, what your thoughts are. So I did that.
Does it work?
It does work, actually. So if you time it like, okay, I'm going to be journaling for a month, and I've given myself this month, and then when you go back and read, you're like, oh, okay, so this is what I was going through. And it's like it progressively gets better, because now you're starting to be aware of what you've gone through the day, your thought process, and then you're like, okay, the next day I'm going to be better. I'll be kinder to myself. I'll do more things for myself. So it involved a lot of selfishness on my
5-year plan. What's your 5-year plan? Before we go, what's your 5-year plan?
My 5-year plan. Okay, no, on the 5-year plan, I'm hoping to have my own brand. That's the goal. To have my own brand. Yes, please support African designers. We are out there. We need more people to support us, to put us out there. It's super important. So my 5-year goal is to have my own brand.
What do you mean that we are not being supported?
We're not put in the forefront of a lot of, in the same platforms as big names around the world.
Right.
It's very, we don't get the same, we all have the same platform. Yeah. I feel like they're here, we're here, and we have to work a little harder to get here. There. Yeah. Even though we're all in the same industry. So I feel like, for example, I'll talk about Marco South Africa, which is a South African luxury brand. I've seen people online complain about the prices of his clothes, but they're no different from buying Gucci or Louis Vuitton. Like, why do we always have to downplay, our own brands?
Right.
When we're supposed to support them. So I feel like we tend to we support more of the European brands than we do the African or the Western brands, actually, because we support more of the Western brands than we do of the African brands. We put them forward before our own, which is, I feel like it's unfair, because there's so many designers that are amazing.
Yeah.
That I feel don't get heard, or they don't get pushed forward like
Who's supposed
Western
to push
designers.
them? Who's supposed to push them?
We are.
We are.
We are.
Are we doing it?
No.
We're not.
I don't think we're doing enough.
Right.
There are some pages out there like Amplify Africa that only posts African designers. They're doing a really good job. But
we're not doing enough.
We're not doing enough.
There's room for improvement.
There's room for improvement, yes.
An example? How can we improve? How can we do it?
I don't know. Just, the power of sharing.
Right.
We do stories all the time on Instagram. Mm-hmm. And if you're a person who's into clothes, like I am, I try as much as possible to highlight African designers as well. I do share Western designers, but I always want to highlight African designers. And if you're planning to be a designer yourself and you are from Africa, for example, try to put a hint of your heritage and culture in there to kind of like, we're here, we are very unique, we have so much to offer to the world. I just feel like we need to like, hey, we here, you need to hear us, you need to see us, and we just need to, as a community, learn to push, do your part, even just sharing on your story. 6 people will see it, maybe they'll share it as well, and so on and so forth. So yeah, and support by buying African clothes. Yeah.
Are we? You know, at times when it's so much in your face, then it becomes an irritation.
Yeah.
Are we doing that? Is it too much? Oh, African. Or should we chill a bit?
I think it depends, because it's like, okay, right now for me, I don't think we need to chill a bit. We need to push it even more.
Right.
Because it's a lot of collections have come out, and all I see on Instagram are more Western based collections than African ones, when they're all releasing at the same time. So I don't feel like it's in your face or it's too much.
No.
Because if you're willing to tolerate, my lord.
Chizungu.
Chizungu, chimavuta. English is my second language.
No, when you're willing to tolerate.
If you're willing to tolerate Western designs always in your face, what's the difference with having African designs in your face? I don't think it's too much.
No, it's not.
No,
it's not.
It's not.
But this is Africa as a whole. We're having difficulties of coming out. You know, we've got the clothes. We've got. I saw the other time there's a South African brand that are doing sneakers. I was like, wow.
See, sneakers. Did I know? If you told me that sneak, I'll be like, where? I'll buy them.
You know, I was like, wow. So I feel as if we're waking up, but we're waking up very slow.
We're waking up very slowly. And I could see with Maklosa, for example, the love that he gets from fellow Africans is amazing. Like, people buy his clothes, they put on his clothes, they take pictures, they post. They travel to Paris, they're wearing his brand. They're trying to promote his brand because he's trying to be a luxury brand.
Right.
And he's so authentic in terms of he creates employment. We're supposed to support these businesses because most of them, like Tongoro, Makosa Africa, African designers, they create employment back home. We have to think about this, right?
Yeah.
We have to think about, poverty rates back home, but they're creating jobs and giving skill sets to people. Like, everything is like authentically African made, not like it's made in China. No. So sometimes if you're like, I'm in doubt about supporting this African brand, look up what they're about. Look up where their sources come from, where they get their stuff done. It'll make such a huge difference.
Sure.
Yes.
Do you want to close it and say thank you for the Inseka talks? Please. You were the first one to do it, so please.
Okay.
I'll be honored.
All right. Thank you for having me, first of all. This was lovely.
You're
and thank you for joining us at the Inseka Talks. This was Stephen. I'm now the host. I'm taking over. No, I'm kidding. No, but check out the videos. Super amazing content. Make sure to follow the page, like, and share. And Stephen?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much again. It was lovely having you here, Natasha. I know. I'm getting you the biscuits. Don't worry.
It's gone up to 6 biscuits.
Please enjoy. Please subscribe. There'll be more videos coming up. Thank you for watching.